Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever it is that you are in the world. I'm Vicki L. and I'm here in Baltimore, Maryland. And you may remember that about 2 weeks ago I went to the theater. I went to see a show here, and it was not what I expected. It was a political satire, and it was based on it was a theme that very much fits into what we're going through today. Now, it was comedy, but what I was expecting was a satire that had a more serious note, sort of a dramedy. But what it was a sort of the uproarious slapstick kind of a thing. So it was a lot going on the stage, a lot of action, a lot of movement, and it kind of left me baffled about the costumes, the concept. Disclaimer, this is my opinion, and it's taken me a couple weeks because I just had this question about the costumes, and I didn't really know how to express it and share it with you because it's sort of really esoteric. What it comes down to is that this was a comedy, and it was more comedic than I expected. So therefore, I wasn't really sure where the costumes fit and what the concept of them was, because the best way I can describe it is if you think of Carol Burnett and the way that Bob Mackie designed the costumes for her skits, over the top with the look, the fabrics, all that. And then how some of those same characters transferred to TV and the show Mama's Family, where Rhett Turner designed the costumes that were based on the concept of Bob Mackie. Because Mama's Family was a comedy, you know, the family, the everyday goings on of Mama and the family, the costumes took on a more realistic look and tone, although they still were very stylized. But what I saw on stage was sort of a combination of the two, the rip-roaring thing that Carol Burnett, but yet the tone, the tone of something more serious. And so I wasn't really sure what was going on because, for instance, there were costumes that did not fit. And whereas you would see, okay, well, you know, that's a crazy character and, you know, he should be in something that doesn't fit. This character should not have been in something that didn't fit. So my question was that a design choice? Why isn't that fitting? What's going on here? And so not only did things not fit, just not fitting the body, there were things that didn't fit for me of what was going on stage. So I say all that to say, or to ask you, have you as a designer, a costumer, a set designer, a lighting designer, have you ever gone to see a show and been totally baffled about the concept? And is that because the designer wanted us to be baffled? But what it did for me was it took me out of being in the show. I was, you know, and I always go to the show and look at the costumes. That's the first thing I'm looking at. But this was where my focus was, and all the business was secondary. Have you ever gone to a show and said, what in the world was the designer thinking? Not because it was bad or even because it wasn't your style or you didn't care for it, but because you really couldn't understand what was going on. Have you ever seen a show like that? And what do you think? Do you think that was the designer's choice? Do you think that things just didn't happen? Do you think that the actor never made it to fittings? You know, if you have a show like that, I'd be interested to know if you've had the same experience. Please put it in the comments. What was the show that baffled you as a designer? What was the show? Why did it baffle you? Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing? because, you know, as it is, I'm still thinking about that show a couple of weeks later, but am I necessarily thinking about it for the right thing? I don't know. That's what I have for you today. I hope I hear from you. Take care. God bless.